In my 19 years of leading, I'm 100% certain of this one thing. People misunderstand what great leadership is. They often focus on the most obvious signs: confidence, decisiveness, vision, but fail to see these 8 subtle, almost invisible traits that separate great leaders from mediocre ones. And if you have the first one, you're well on your way to becoming a good leader, as few managers have it. At the core of leadership lies integrity. It's doing what's right, even and especially when nobody's watching. At West Point, during our basic training or Beast Barracks, we were giving this booklet, which is really used, but integrity was one of the first things that we learned. And integrity is doing what's right, legally and morally. And so here is where a lot of managers don't understand that. They're doing what their company is telling them, even though it's completely immoral, it's gonna destroy their relationship, the trust, the respect of their employees or even their buyers, but they need to do it and they want to do it because they're afraid that their upper echelon managers are going to be punishing them. And this is then why they cut corners, they do immoral things, and they destroy their credibility and integrity forever. Because you build integrity for years on end, and you can destroy it within a single afternoon or within 5 minutes. So whenever you're making decisions, ask yourself this: is it legal and is it moral? And if it checks both of these check marks, then feel free and do the decision. But if it's immoral, even though it's legal, ask yourself, do I still want to do this? And if you're still having doubts and problems, just ask yourself this question: would I be okay with this action if I were on the receiving end of it? And if the answer is no, then you're doing something immoral. So one of the most common questions that I get and see about integrity is, hey, if I make a mistake, if I do something illegal or immoral, do I lose integrity right away? No, you don't. As long as you acknowledge that mistake, you make sure that you correct what you did, that's going to be fine. But you have to do it by your own volition, not when somebody finds you that you did something illegally or immorally and then only correct it. Then your integrity is gone. Great leadership means being consistent. It's not about only showing up from time to time and doing a grand gesture for your team. No, it's showing up every day for your team, no matter what you're feeling, how you're feeling, or what you would like to do. You always need to be consistent. And that means that you don't play favorites. Even though you may have your favorite employees, you always are consistent with every single one of them. You have the same standards for every single employee, and you show up using those standards, your honor, your integrity, and you show it to everybody else. Because what consistency does, it builds trust and safety over time. And with that, you build respect of your team. And even though you may have bad days or sometimes great days, you are still consistent. You're not showing and you're not leading with your emotions, because that will sooner or later destroy your relationship with your subordinates. Because if you're in a bad mood and you show it to everybody else and you actually push your bad mood to your whole team, your team is going to start being wary of you because you're not consistent. They know that if they catch you on a bad day, all hell is going to break loose. But if they catch you on a good day, then you're probably going to be giving them everything that they want. Be humble. Here, I'm only going to focus on 2 aspects of being humble. The first one is when you soak up all of the credit. So if the credit is positive and you're in the spotlight, your team is doing amazing, make sure that you share in the credit, that you give credit where credit is due to each and every single one of your team members, because they're the superstars, not you. And when everything is going wrong, or when there's a failure and somebody needs to be blamed, blame yourself and take all of the blame on yourself, not on your team. You are leading this team, so it's your responsibility to make sure that your team succeeds, not the other way around. The second part of being humble also means that you're willing to be vulnerable. You're willing to admit your mistakes publicly and with your team, so that your team can actually participate in what went wrong, how can we fix it, and what is the way forward. And in this, you being humble is actually going to open up everybody else to also being humble and acknowledging their mistakes, which is also going to improve team interaction, team trust, and team safety, which is actually going to lead to your team outperforming anybody's expectations. Humbleness leads us directly to being open for feedback. If you're humble, you're probably already doing this, but being open to feedback is one of the great ways to improve yourself and improve everybody else around you. Because when we seek feedback that will improve us, improve how we lead, and is going to improve us personally or professionally. And that's one of the best ways that you can grow as a person and as a leader. Now, one point of warning here is that feedback isn't universal. It comes in all shapes and sizes. And the way you want to get proper feedback is that you get feedback from people you trust and you know that they have their best intentions at heart. So if those people give you feedback, then you can be 100% sure that they have your best intentions at heart. Now, there's going to be some people that are going to give you feedback, but malicious feedback. They're going to try and bring you down as a leader or as a person. And they will be aiming directly at your mistakes, at your insecurities or imposter syndrome, because their aim for feedback is actually that they want to trip you up because they see you as a threat or as a nuisance or whatever it is. So have genuine empathy. And this isn't just like some fake surface level empathy, but it's actually understanding who the person is, what are their inspirations, what are their motivations, and what their feelings are at that specific moment. You have to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and their struggles in order for you as a leader to be able to help them. And when you actually go that deep, when they're talking to you, you're going to be able to understand them, where they're coming from. And as a result, as a leader, you're going to be able to make better decisions, more effective decisions, and you're just going to be able to get from that person the best output and the best efficiency as they can possibly get. Listen and hear what people are saying. Oftentimes, we just pretend to listen so that we can respond to others. But as great leaders, what we need to do is we need to listen to the person, what they're saying, and actually think about why they're saying it, how are they feeling, what are their struggles, or what are their emotions, so we can hear them. We can actually hear what they're trying to tell us, even though they may not be telling it us directly. As leaders, we most often just try and hear superficially and then just move on. But that's going to create a big barrier, a big hole between you and the people that you're actually leading. And sooner or later, if you don't listen, truly listen and hear your people, they're going to lose trust. They're going to lose that safety net that you've provided, and they're not going to respect anymore. And as a result, what's going to happen is that they're going to come to you with less and less issues, less and less challenges, because they're going to understand, even subconsciously, that you're not helping them, that you're not there to listen and hear them, that you're just there because you're their manager. And that's going to be a big difference. You're going to become their manager, not their leader. Great leaders have grit. Grit is a combination of passion and perseverance, which in turn enables us to achieve our long-term goals. If you have a passion for leadership, you're going to most likely be improving yourself personally and professionally to become the best leader you possibly can. And you're also going to have that perseverance to actually achieve those results. If you only want to become a leader because you think that that's going to enable you to get promoted or to get into a higher position, you're going to fail one way or another. You're never going to be a great leader or even a good leader. As leaders, we always face obstacles, challenges, issues, setbacks, amazing failures, or even catastrophic failures. But what we do when we face those setbacks is what determines whether we're actually going to make good or great leaders versus just bad managers. And the way we stand up, we try again, we fail again, and then repeat this process over and over and over and over again is what's actually going to determine whether we're going to persevere as good and great leaders or if we're just going to be stuck at being mediocre leaders. Angela Duckworth, who coined and researched grit, says the following: enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. And as much as talent counts, effort counts twice. And without effort, your talent is nothing more than unmet potential. Without effort, your skill is nothing more than what you could have done but didn't. Great leaders have the ability to inspire. Now, most likely, as soon as you heard the word inspire, You thought of some great speech a great leader did, probably somebody like Steve Jobs or somebody else, right? But in all honesty, you don't need to have great speeches or be a visionary to inspire your people. You can inspire them by just telling them why their work is important, how their work contributes to the betterment of the company and everybody else around them. I'm not the inspirational leader that you probably think of, making great speeches, being like, oh yes, we're gonna work this effort and we're gonna be effortless, and all of those yada 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 speeches that you most likely hear on TV, movies, and all of that stuff, right? But the way I inspire is a little bit different. I inspire through my work ethic, through making sure that people trust me, that they feel safe around me. And I show it day in, day out. And I inspire them to be better personally and professionally because they see me trying to get better every single day. And actually, this inspiration is the one that I propose that you should be aiming at because it's sustainable long term. And you can inspire pretty much most of the population because with just throwing in amazing speeches and how amazing everything is and what we can achieve is most likely only going to affect a small amount of the population, especially the people that kind of are thinking along the same axis as the person who's giving the speech. Or even if the speaker is so inspiring that they're going to inspire everybody in the room that's listening to that speech, as soon as they leave, the majority of people are not going to be inspired anymore because that's not who they are. But if you stick with it day in, day out, just like what I said, you can inspire people in the long term. And you can inspire people who are introverted, extroverted, neurodivergent, neurotypical. You can inspire the whole spectrum of people around you.